Hi, I'm Bruce Gilley, a professor of political science at Portland State University and a member of the board of the National Association of Scholars. I have a special fondness for Rachel Fulton Brown, a professor of history at the University of Chicago and a defender of all things medieval. First, she is an accomplished scholar. Her 2018 book, Mary and the Art of Prayer, is a landmark of contemporary scholarship that seeks to remind us of the medieval origins of much of the modern world. Secondly, she is a fine person and an accomplished fencer. And I don't mean just the metaphorical fencing with her opponents in the academic left, of which there are scores, but the real pointy-ended kind. The former has landed her in all sorts of trouble, not least for her vocal support of Milo Yiannopoulos, whose rollicking little read 2018 Middle Rages, Why the Battle for Medieval Studies Matters to America, describes Dr. Brown's fencing with the woke medievalists. The latter, the pointy-ended kind of fencing, is, I suspect, no less exhilarating for her opponents. Finally, I like Dr. Brown because she once took a picture with me. Dr. Brown's new article, Make Art and Academia Medieval Again, is published in the fall 2020 issue of Academic Questions, House Journal of the National Association of Scholars. In this short essay, you will learn old words like quaternity and new words like LARPing. But the main argument she makes is, I think, what's really important. She argues that it's not just the postmodernists with their attack on science, but also the modernists with their worship of science that are leading our societies astray. Both the postmodernists and the modernists, in Dr. Brown's view, are idolaters. Extolling the superpowers conferred by being surrounded by the great books or by statues of national heroes, in her view, is just as bad as extolling the trauma and microaggression and terrible suffering caused by the great books and statues of national heroes. Both fall into the trap, in Dr. Brown's ladylike phrase, of staring at corpses. What is needed is instead, she argues, is a return to a medieval notion of knowledge, a medieval notion of seeking not things or facts or STEM, but seeking light. She highlights the views of the 13th century Franciscan monk, Saint Bonaventure. No, not that Saint Bonaventure. Yes, that Saint Bonaventure. Saint Bonaventure, she says, argued that light came through developing practical skills, keen senses, logical thinking, and, here's the medieval part, God's guidance. Now, I have not stepped onto the piste to ask Dr. Brown if she would allow us to replace godly guidance with spiritual guidance. I fear the touch. Still, her main point is to warn us about sending our children to fancy universities with Gothic dorms and promises of either imbibing or vomiting STEM and great books, because both are just worshiping the form and not the content of what it means to seek light. So if you're helping your children to choose a college, or if you are in one yourself, or if you are part of discussions in your community or workplace about learning and enlightenment, that's enlightenment with a small e, Dr. Brown offers this advice, rescued from our long-traduced medieval tradition. Seek light through skills, senses, logic, and, whatever you want to call it, some form of inspiration that lies outside of yourself. Bruce Gilley.